One of my favorite aspects of Major League Baseball are the unique venues the 30 teams play at. Unlike any other sport, each one is different, from the orientation of the decks to the quirky features and even the field dimensions. It's this individuality that makes every venue feel so different, and makes each one worth a special trip to experience in person. All 30 teams try to incorporate some local culture into their ballparks, though some definitely pull it off better than others. Daikin Park, formerly known as Minute Maid Park, and Enron Field before that, right in the heart of downtown Houston, Texas, is one that does things very well. Daikin Park is labeled as a retro-modern ballpark, meaning it draws some inspiration from classic jewel box stadiums, but leans more towards a modern design. It opened in 2000 and features a number of unique elements that set it apart. The Crawford boxes are a fan favorite feature, a short left field porch that sits just 315 feet from home plate and is like a mini green monster. The seats sit above a 19-foot wall that includes a manually operated out-of-town scoreboard. Because of the short distance, this section sees a ton of home runs. Right next to the boxes is the visiting bullpen. Tucked behind a garage door looking fence and fully enclosed, the floor is laid with AstroTurf from the Astrodome, as no sun is able to get in to sustain natural grass. It all makes for a setup you won't see anywhere else. Above it all, an office building with glass windows sits facing the field. It is marked as 422 feet from home plate and belongs to former team owner Drayton McLean, who famously said he'd give any player who was able to hit a homer through the window $50,000, a feat that has yet to be accomplished. A vintage-style gas pump called the Phillips 66 home run pump keeps track of every Astros home run hit at Daikin Park, perched proudly over left center field. Another standout feature of the ballpark is how it incorporates Houston's historic Union Station. Built in 1911, the station still stands today and serves as a cornerstone of the park's design. To go along with the railroad theme, a full-size replica steam locomotive runs atop the left field wall. Operated by Bobby Vasquez, aka Bobby Dynamite, since the stadium's opening, the train goes 10 miles per hour back and forth on an 800-foot track whenever the Astros take the field, hit a home run, or win a game. Fun fact, Bobby actually has a fear of heights, and the train sits 65 feet above the field, so not exactly ideal for him. Originally, the train was loaded with massive oranges as a nod to Minute Maid's orange juice branding, but after Daikin took over the naming rights in 2025, the train got a makeover, now being filled with giant baseballs. Personally, I think they should have filled it with HVAC units. Another branded thing the team does is a fun promo tied to their Chick-fil-A branded foul poles. If a ball hits one, fans get free chicken nuggets. I think that's why Howie Kendrick was so hyped in 2019.
Down the right field line into the corner. This ball is gone for a home run.
And even though it's no longer a part of the park, I have to talk about Tal's Hill. One of the most iconic features of the park's early years, the hill was a 90-foot wide, 90-degree incline in center field, named after former Astros president Tal Smith. It had a flagpole planted in play, making it one of the last truly bizarre ballpark features that could actually impact the game. While it caught a lot of criticism for potentially being an injury risk, no players were ever seriously hurt on it, and it mostly just led to some awkward and goofy-looking catches. The stadium is designed for both function and fan comfort. It features 19,201 seats on the lower level, 7,132 on the second, 880 in suites, and 13,750 on the upper level. The retractable roof is a major architectural element, weighing 900 tons and taking 13 minutes to open or close. It's typically left open during the mild summer months of April and May, but closed during the hotter summer months, and almost always for postseason games, trapping the sound in and creating a deafening home field advantage. My personal experience at Daikin Park came in early September 2025. It was the 21st ballpark I've checked off and the 5th indoor park I've been to. And I have to say, stepping into this place for the first time felt pretty surreal. As a Gen Z baseball fan, I've always associated this park with October baseball, thanks to all the postseason successes the Astros have had throughout my childhood. Now, I know it's a bit ironic since they missed a playoff this year for the first time in ages, but still, this was a ballpark that felt familiar, like I had been here before. Now, I don't want to release my rankings till I go to all 30, but this one's pretty high up there, especially among the indoor parks. For context, I rank ballparks mostly on how unique they are. The quirks, features, and overall layout all play a role. Now, I know a lot of people rank ballparks on food and amenities, but I don't always utilize them, so they aren't a big factor for me personally. With this being said, my opinion of Daikin Park is that it is the perfect ballpark for Texas. As you walk down the concourses, you're greeted by the unmistakable smell of barbecue drifting through the air. Also, I'm no expert on architecture, but the design and materials of the concourse reminded me a lot of what I've seen walking around Houston, and really throughout Texas in general. This especially stood out in the hall behind the Crawford boxes, which was nicely decorated and featured concrete tile flooring. I also really liked how they incorporated the old Union Station, transforming it into a modern bar and picnic area that blends the park's history with a more contemporary social vibe. I walked around more pre-game with my film camera and was able to get these cool vintage shots. Another feature that stood out to me was the outfield decks. They felt kind of random in their placement, but in a way that made the park more unique and interesting. I ended up attending 2 games here, one sitting in the upper deck and one in the lower bowl, and both ended up being quite pleasant viewing experiences. One downside though is that the AC in the upper deck doesn't work very well, and it gets pretty muggy up there, which is kinda ironic, isn't it? But I digress. Speaking of Daikin, during the game where I was sitting in the upper deck, my whole section actually won free air purifiers, and I was able to claim a couple as well as get one to my buddy in North Carolina. Oh yeah, also they gave us these. Now I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do with these since the air in my house is pretty pure, but it was fun to win something nonetheless. Overall, I think this ballpark is definitely worth a trip out to come see. I wanted to end this video off by saying I really enjoyed making this project and I would like to turn it into a series. So let me know what you thought of the formatting of the video as well as which ballpark you want to see next. And also, if you enjoyed, please consider giving me a like and subscribing as it really helps out the channel. I'm pushing towards my next goal of 2,500 subscribers. So every sub counts. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you in the next one.